So guys, listen, this is a huge moment for us. So today I'm going to show you guys how to remove a Duramax out of a GM truck. Okay, so I'm going to do a step-by-step from start to finish. So I want you guys to watch the entire video. If you guys own a Duramax and you want to remove it, I think this video is going to be extremely insightful and maybe we can learn something. So I took the day off of work today and I'm going to start digging into this bad boy today, okay? My wife's headed off to work. My goal here is to try to rip that engine out of this truck by the time she gets back from work. So we'll see what happens, guys. I think I can do it. I'm going to work pretty quick. On top of that, I'm going to be videoing it. I'm going to document pretty much every single nut and bolt. But I want to keep this down home, guys. I'm Joe. Actually, I'm Josh. But I'm Joe with a garage, with my tools, with my hands. That is it, okay? I don't have a fancy shop. A good buddy of mine, Ryan, he's the guy that owns Ryan's Diesel Service in Wisconsin. We've already talked. I've thought about even bringing the truck to him. And then we do a removal video there at the shop. But I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing you guys a very good service by doing that when most of you that are watching this video are probably doing this in your driveway or in your garage. I want to be as real as I possibly can with you, and then after that, watch till the very end of the video when I, God willing, remove this engine and show it to my wife for the first time, removing that bad boy out of here. So it's going to be very awesome. So just to catch you guys up to speed, I bought 2 Duramaxes, actually 1.5. And what I'm doing is I'm removing the good motor out of this thing and transmission and T-case and drive shaft pretty much. And it's all going in the WifeMax, which is an 05. So it's going to be a very unique build because I have an 05, clean body, clean frame, everything's good to go. And we're slamming an LB7 in a truck that rightfully should have an LOI. I am dubbing this video probably one of the most important videos I've ever done or had the opportunity to do by myself in my garage. You guys stay tuned. I'm super excited. Thanks for watching. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is, of course, disconnect all the intercooler pipes, take those off, which I already did. I don't need to document that. It's right there. Remove those. They're going to be in your way. We want to have complete access once we hook up that hoist and remove this engine. Next, I'm going to remove the fan clutch. I'm just going to take a pry bar, take the end of it right here, put it right on that big old nut that's on the fan clutch. Make a little notch and kind of hit it. And what I'm doing is I'm just vibrating it loose. I'm working it loose. Once I end up doing that, I could just spin the fan clutch right off freely. Alright guys, next I'm going to go ahead and remove this lower coolant hose here, just get it out of the way. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and disconnect our coolant lines connected to the firewall here. Remove this 13mm bolt right here. And of course, make sure that this is discharged before you do that because it'll pop right in your face and it's not good to breathe in. Remove this ground right here connected to the firewall. If you've done that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the return and supply fuel lines. Get a little flat blade. Go ahead and pry up on the backs of these right here. They'll pop right out. I'm going to use one of my little plastic disconnects. I have really good luck with these guys. All right, onto our electrical connections. I like to squeeze back here before I pull back. Basically what I'm saying is don't pull this back and you could break the tab. Squeeze right here, pull back just like that and it'll pop right out. Next one I'm going to go ahead and do is just peel back this wiring harness right here. So you have this connected to the glow plug module. That's a 13mm right there. If you pull up, it's going to just, you know, stay with the motor. So basically just follow this line right here and disconnect all these little connections to the AC compressor. You have one here to the starter. You have one right here to the air dryer. So basically just peel all this back right here and separate it and get it all off the top of the engine right here. Just use your flat blade screwdriver, kind of work all these connections out. Right here is the mass airflow sensor. All this is just going to come out as one unit. Follow this wire right here. So basically, grab here. It's going to route from here. And this is a line, guys, right here. This is a ground you want to disconnect. Just keep coming all the way around until you get to about right here. I believe that's a 10mm nut right there. And that's actually the fastener that holds the trans lines together, as well as this line right here, which that right there goes to your starter. So you want to disconnect all that stuff. And then once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my starter. So you're going to want to go ahead and remove these two 10mm bolts. There's one here and there's one right here. So back on the driver's side, we're going to go ahead and disconnect this power steering line. Go ahead and disconnect this line as well. And then right here where your hydro boost is, go ahead and disconnect this line. This is a 19mm. Also, don't forget to remove this bracket right here connected to the fuel supply lines. So now that we have all that freed up, we're going to go ahead and remove the starter at this point. Oh, by the way, I didn't cover that, but one clamp, 11mm, right on the exhaust, connected to the downpipe. Just take it off and it'll release your exhaust. So the next thing we're going to do is remove that starter. It's held on by two 15mm bolts, and it's a little tricky. You have one right here and you have one right down there where that socket is, okay? Easiest way to do this is basically just have a super long extension, probably about, I don't know, about 2.5 feet or so, and just plumb it all the way through there to the point where it connects to the bottom of the starter right there. And then at that point you can use a breaker bar and get that free, or use some air or whatever. But the top one is really easy. You guys can get to that, but it's just that lower one you're gonna have a hard time with. So use a nice long extension to get to that part right there. Then get the starter out of the way. We're gonna get access to the torque converter bolts, which are in this hole right here. So let me show you how I'm gonna do that. All right, so 36mm socket. Put it on the harmonic balancer. And what we're doing is we're turning the crank and essentially turning that flywheel. And what we're doing is we're gonna go ahead and line up that hole right there. Once you see a bolt is connected to the torque converter, there's 6 of those bolts, and we're gonna go ahead and start removing those. I'll go ahead and use my camera telescope. I'll go ahead and just plug it in right here, and I'll look at the camera and turn at the same time. It's gonna save me a lot of time, so let me do that right now. What I'm doing is I'm turning the flywheel, and there's a bolt right there. So I have it lined up, as you guys can see. So I'll just use this as my set of eyes. This is gonna be my buddy for this job right here. If you had another person to say that it's lined up, it's gonna be a whole lot easier. Now, these have Loctite in them, so they're really tight. So you're pretty much gonna have to use a breaker bar for every single one of them. It's really quick in real time here. I can show you. There it is right there. That's the hole that you're looking for. Okay, so I worked it out of the hole, and as you guys can see, I have it. One thing to note, use a magnet when you pull this thing out. Once you get it super loose, just put the magnet head right on it and start loosening it with the magnet and just pull it right out. It doesn't really matter because we're removing the transmission anyways, but it would suck to drop that in the bell housing. So just food for thought. These are so much easier to keep everything organized. All right, so I have 5 bolts out. I'm working on my 6th right now. Let me show you how tough these are to get out. Basically, here's my extension right there, breaker bar. I guess that wasn't too bad, but the last 3 were really, really tough. All right. Oh, by the way, these wobble extensions right here are your best friend, I promise. Just like that, guys. Fairly simple. Put some muscle into this one right here. So the torque converter bolts are now off. Next, we're gonna remove all the bolts that are connected to the bell housing and the engine right here. And right in between there is dowel pins as well, so it is gonna be a little tricky to separate the 2 halves, but not too big of a deal. All right, so the fun begins, guys. We're gonna go ahead and remove all the bell housing bolts. Just follow all the way around. That meets the motor. These are 15mm. Also, there's going to be 2 nuts right there by the downpipe, right there. That's actually your transmission dipstick, and what you're going to do is you have to remove those as well. And one thing to mention as well, I did do a full how to remove transmission on a Duramax. I did it at Ryan's Diesel Service when we removed my transmission. I know Ryan and Beard did it, and I documented it. It's going to be really hard to get the camera angles, especially in these tight spots right here. So just bear with it, guys. If you guys wanted to learn more about how to remove the bolts, go ahead and click on that link. I'll leave that link in the description for you guys so you guys can go down there, click on that, and then come back to the video. And once we do that, it's on to the engine mounts. We'll go ahead and remove the engine mounts. And from that point on, we should be good to go. We should be able to remove the engine. On the driver's side next to the engine oil filter, you will have a 13mm bolt here. And then this is a 15mm right here. It's a bolt and stud right there. Now that nut and bolt right there is the one that holds the transmission dipstick. So the first one is going to be a 13mm and the one you're looking at is a 15mm. So start working on those 2. There's another one. As you can see, there's a bracket that I just disconnected, but there's another one on the other side as well. Right there where my ratchet is, that is a 13mm for reference. So that's the very top of the bell housing. So I'm working on that right now. So I just removed all the bolts, and as you guys can see, all accounted for, 9 bolts and then 1 nut. Well, you're actually gonna have a few nuts, which I attached here just so I don't lose them, but you're gonna have 3 right here. But 9 bolts, guys. That way you know, once you start removing stuff, you forget one, you know there's 9. All right, everybody, so now that we have all the bell housing bolts out, let's go ahead and get these engine mounts off. So you're gonna have 2 engine mounts. You're gonna have 1 on each side, driver and passenger. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, and then 3 on that side. You're gonna be removing 15mm, as well as the driver's side, which is a little more tight. Here's the other side right here, the driver's side. You're gonna go ahead and remove, there's 3, there's another one on the other side, but remove all those bolts, 15mm, and then after that, we're gonna go ahead and hook up the engine hoist. All right, so that side's good, we'll do the other side. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and chain this engine up to the engine hoist. We'll go ahead and pick it up. Once I chain everything up, I'll show you guys exactly how I do it. All right, I was wiggling it like that, guys, because it sits on those dowel pins, and I know it's not gonna come out easy. Basically, now what I'm doing is I'm just inspecting just to make sure that I disconnected everything, which I did on both sides. So looks like I gotta pull it back just a little bit more, just because I'm still sitting on a dowel pin on the driver's side there. But I think we're good to go. Lift it up a little bit higher and keep working at it. We should be good. Look at that hot rod. All right, let's get around back. I really should have put that hood in the service position. I have a few more inches up there, but I think I'm good. I think I'm cleared up. Let's see if we can roll this thing back. It's out. Awesome. Very cool. Well, all right. So that's how you remove an engine. That's how you remove a Duramax LV7. But the platform is very similar for pretty much anything from an 01 to a 2000 and I believe an LML. So except for the L5P, the newer Duramaxes. But the process is very similar. It's pretty much the same thing. So let me show you exactly how I hooked this up. Guys, I do not recommend it because it's not safe, okay? But it works for me. So basically I took a chain, I took 2 bolts out of the AC compressor, 15mm, one there, and I took one off the other side as well. And what I did is I used those bolts and I went right through here, right above the power steering pump. I hooked it right in there. I couldn't go any deeper, but I couldn't go any farther with the bolt, but that's how I did it, guys. Sketchy, but you know what? It works. Just stay clear. But hey, man, you know what? I got it out. It came out even. So, man, I'm happy. Really didn't even take that long. I'd say it took me about 3.5 hours. So there's your transmission, which we'll be removing here in another video, guys. So, but yeah, I don't know why I disconnected that steering shaft. You do not need to do that. I was just getting happy with removing stuff. But yeah, overall, not too bad, guys. It was actually pretty simple. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I basically put bolts and nuts back in their respective spots. That way I know when I get back to it, I don't lose them. So I know how I get sometimes.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
I know. I'm glad we have this engine hoist because I was thinking about using the skid steer to pull the engine out, but it would be too dangerous. So you just came home from work, so this is your first time seeing it. But overall, what do you think?
It's crazy. It's huge.
But yeah, everything's out. So what I have is the Wife Max right here, what's left of it. What was basically ripped out of the truck. And that's from the LB7. And this is all the stuff that I removed, which really wasn't much to remove an engine if you think about it. I mean, I removed that. You didn't really have to, but it gave me more access to remove all those little wiring clips. But, you know, intercooler pipes and stuff, that stuff's easy to remove. I want access when I pull this out. I don't want to get all hung up on wires and stuff. So that's why I removed a whole bunch of stuff. But most guys pull more of the stuff off than that. But yeah, overall, not too bad. The engine looks like complete garbage. So I will be doing a lot of degreasing, power washing. I'll be replacing the oil pan gasket as well because it looks like it was leaking. So
You removed the heart.
What's that?
You removed the heart.
Oh yeah, the heart of the truck, the heartbeat.
Since we're doing, you know, kind of like an organ transplant.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's the heart.
So this will be powering the Wife Max. We're really, really excited about it, guys. So this upper oil pan right here, and then that's the lower oil pan. There's two of them. So since I'm right there, guys, heck, I might as well go ahead and replace both gaskets, you know? There's a lot of stuff to do. Hey guys, so that's exactly how you do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I tried to do my very best to document everything, but you know, it's kind of hard to get the camera in little weird angles and stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope it was helpful or useful to somebody who's wondering how to remove an engine. Unfortunately, my wife wasn't able to be here. She was at work. I took the day off of work to do this here. It literally took, not all day, but you know, took some time. So definitely took my time. You guys to continue to follow the build as it progresses because it's going to my wife. We're building this truck together, me and my wife.
Well, mostly you.
Wife Max. Her hands are definitely in it as well, so I think it's kind of cool. We got a lot of goodies coming with this right here. I don't want to call it a budget build, but right now I'm kind of just, you know, getting all the easy stuff done out of the way. But I'm thinking HSP, Ryan's Diesel Service, Kodiak truck, as far as the big names go, as far as upgrades. So guys, you guys can't miss a video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. So once I post a video and you guys get an alert, make sure you guys click on it. You guys can't miss anything. Seriously, this is so exciting, man. I am super excited. So I do appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for watching the videos.
Good job, honey.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thanks. We always miss every time we do that. Okay. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.
Bye.